Hello everyone, I'm Lafir back again with another Epic Chaos Era video. So in today's video, I'll be going over the newly introduced patch notes that the Ace developers will be implementing tomorrow on the 12th of October. So let's quickly go through the update to see what that they will bring us. So this is the schedule update notice. Basically, they mentioned it will be tomorrow around, I think, the reset time. Okay, and then for every big update, they will compensate us with some diamonds for waiting for the update to be completed. Alright, let's scroll down a little bit more. Alright, so for the new update, they'll be adding two new legendary heroes who are Pluto, who is a water affinity hero, and Taliesin, who is a fire affinity hero. So basically, Taliesin is one of the new legendary hero that we can obtain by doing those Dragon Cup Rally tournaments as well as the events to get those matrices and then fuse all of those matrices to obtain one of these legendary hero. And I've already performed some calculation that if you want to get that particular hero, you need to spend some money to purchase the badge. So what I meant is this badge here. So if you will head over to this, see one of here, or like this one, this Dragon Cup Rally, the arena tournament. In order to get this Taliesin matrix, you need to purchase the badge. So this badge costs around about 25 USD dollars in order to unlock these progress rewards. So if you're a free-to-play player, you won't be able to get this. However, for like heavy spenders or mid spender, you can purchase this to get this matrix to get the hero. Alright, so let's head over back to the updates. So that's how to get this Taliesin hero. So far, I'm not sure what are the hero skills, so you'll need to wait for tomorrow to see whether these legendary hero skills are great for like PvE or PvP. And apart from that, they also included one new epic hero who is Bachi. So most probably this hero will be sent over to the Visitors by Sea, the new faction hero, to populate that faction because there's pretty little heroes there. Alright, so for the limited summon, the new legendary hero Pluto will be available in the limited summon for 2 weeks along with Diana, a wood affinity hero, as well as Bachelet. So maybe tomorrow I will create another subsequent video to cover Pluto as well as Taliesin skills. Okay, and I think for this limited summon it will be quite useful because Bachelet is really good for the guild versus environment if you do not have him. He pairs really well for like Abaddon and Jacob to rack up those negative effects on the boss so that your heroes can gain bonus turn from the Kiss of Death talent. But for Fiona, she's mostly like a PvP hero because she can like generate a large shield on herself and sustain it with the, I think, buff extension, which makes her pretty tanky. Alright, so for the third point here, Backstage Battle added a new Backstage Battle feature that allows you to switch the battle to the backstage during multi-battle. Okay, so this is basically what the developers have been working on. Basically, it allows players to like perform their farming in the background while you can work on other activities in the game such as like Arena, Void Tower Heart, and maybe Endless Trial. Hopefully we can perform like multiple backstage battle, maybe like one for farming, the adventure, and another one for dungeon. That would save a lot of time if you can perform multi backstage battle here. But I wouldn't be having high expectation. Most probably we can only perform like one team in the battle, in the background battle. Okay, so let's lower our expectation here because I don't think they can like surprise us with like this new backstage battle that can perform like three different teams running in the background farming like Ash Magistra, Queen of Tides, as well as like adventure campaign farming at the same time. If that's the case, right, then it'll be super good. But most likely it'll be only like one type of battle in the background. Alright, so for the next thing is a Storm Duel. This is the new feature that they'll be implementing in tomorrow's patch, and it will only be available 3 days every week. And the first opening time is October 15, which I've already calculated is around starting on either Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's basically 3 days starting from the weekend. Okay, so basically we'll know from there. I think this Storm Duel refers to the Guild versus Guild. So maybe you can see how it, I'm not sure if this one is Guild versus Guild or something else. So we will need to check it out to see how they created this feature here. Then for the 5th point, Talpa lowered the monster difficulty or the level in Hell Stage 5 to level 95. Most probably it's quite difficult for players to clear that Hell Stage 5. Wait, no, that's not 5, right? That's 4, right? Okay, so basically Hell Stage 4 is the last stage in Tulpa. So they just basically reduce the monster level so that it'll be easier to defeat them. However, Tulpa is not really a great dungeon for farming because the gears there, I think only maybe Terra and Vanguard, but they are not as useful compared to other gears in the game that can be farmed from Archmagistra as well as the Queen of Tides. If they could make like the Rage set to maybe give more than 20% critical rate, maybe 30% critical rate, because each set will provide 15 critical rate, that will be 30% critical rate, that would be much better. If the developers do not improve the gear sets, then it does not incentivize players to farm the Roaring Tulpa. So regardless of what difficulty they do for this Tulpa dungeon, most players will not farm there. You'll need to change the gears. So this is not really a good update for Tulpa. Then for the 6-point Magic Pass, added an Imperial Treasures, a new type of Magic Pass that grants the Death Hurricane. That is a 6-star legendary. Imperial Treasures will be available from October 12 to November 11. Alright, so basically this new Magic Pass, right? Now they will not provide or give legendary heroes, but they replace it with a legendary set, which might not be a good thing because equipment stats will be RNG where we may get like flat stats from all four substats of the legendary gear. That's the worst case scenario. Or maybe you get like 2 flat stats or 1 flat stats, and when you upgrade those gears, those stats will be fall into the flat stats category. So it's not that great compared to like the previous Magic Pass that they have provided us with a legendary hero, especially for those players, low spender players who want new heroes that they cannot get through or cannot spend that much to get that hero. The Magic Pass will be a better option, but now they replace the legendary hero with legendary equipment set, which is not that great. Unless they reduce the Magic Pass price, maybe lower compared to the regular one, which is I think, is it 12 USD? Can't remember the price. Not sure whether they still retain the price while just switching the hero with this set. And then for 7-1 Dragon Cup Rally, leaderboard rewards are now distributed 30 minutes after the event ends. I think this one will be much better because previously, right, if you do not claim those rewards, they will be forfeited. But now I think it will be much more better for them to automatically like place those rewards into our mailbox rather than requiring us to claim them, or else they'll be forfeited. And for the 8th point is they optimize the display of the event calendar. Okay, that would be good. And number 9, added a new feature that allows you to use specific items with one tap. I'm not sure what does this do. Is it to simplify the usage of the items? Not sure. We'll need to see how this is implemented. I'm not sure what items they're referring to. Is it like the EXP potion or something else? For the 10th point, the user interface has been updated. They adjust the display of shop tabs, so some of them are now collapsed. Okay. Then they added some text wrapping support to Guild Boss Rewards display screen. For this one, I really dislike how they show the Guild Boss Rewards because you need to like use your mouse or your finger to like scroll to the left or the right to view all of the rewards. I would like them to just show all the rewards in one screen without requiring the users to like scroll the window. And this one is not really it's just a minor problem. The biggest issue is the guild boss, right? If you were to head over to the guild boss battle, let's check here. So as you notice, right, these are the guild boss loot details, and the current problem with this implementation is, even though you notice that like level 35 onwards, you will drop this Book of Legendary Masters matrix. It doesn't really guarantee a drop, not even one, but it's basically a probability of dropping it, which is quite misleading to the users. So ideally, the Ace developers should at least make every run drop at least a minimum of one of this item, like 1 to maybe 1 to 10, 10 for level 40, maybe increase the amount, maybe like 5 to 10, then level 45 maybe 7, 10 or more. But at the current implementation, right, this one is just like probability of dropping rather than a guarantee to drop at least like one piece of this. So I've been playing the guild boss for more than 2 weeks already, and I did not get that much legendary master matrix for this, which is quite a bad implementation of allowing free-to-play players to get legendary mastery books. Okay, so let's head over back to the update. Okay, next one will be the optimization of the quality and countdown displays of advanced quests. Okay, this one is normal, not that big an issue. So for the bug fixes, they fix an issue where returning to the hero screen after hero banishing in stack view will trigger an error prompt. Yep, I always get this error when I'm trying to promote heroes. Fix a description error of Celine's special ability. Okay, that's normal. Fix an issue where Dulov's special ability would deal damage to himself. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder who uses Dulov. Is there any player who uses Dulov for any certain scenarios? To let me know down in the comments below, like what usage for Dulov. I remember he only has like counter attack special ability. Fix an issue with Holy Armor Vigor special effects. Okay. Fix an icon display error of the gear preview in Arcane Dominator. Okay. Alright, so they also included some balance adjustment to the heroes. So the first one is mechanic adjustment, unremovable positive and negative effects. Chaos Frostbite and Frostbite version 2 and Hyla Speed Down effects are now regarded as unremovable negative effects and can be affected by the immune effect. Imoge's defense pace up and Hyla's speed up effects are now regarded as unremovable positive effects and can be affected by the no positive effects. So what this basically means is we can now block those unique negative effects from Tia and Hylia using the immune buff, which is quite good. So it does not like bypass the immune buff. And for the defense pace up and Hyla speed up, they are now like nerfed because now they are affected by the no positive effect. So they cannot place this special buff on themselves if they are affected by this no positive effect. Alright, so let's move on to the hero adjustment. So the first hero is Evelyn Firstone. She's a light legendary hero. So what they changed is the unremovable defense up and attack up effects are now changed into permanent aura effect. I think this one is like similar to Nero. So I think during the time where the Ace developers introduced Nero, they introduced this aura system. And now they are expanding that aura system to other heroes in the game, which is the Evelyn Firstone here. So this means that if this is a permanent aura effect, which means it'll be a very good buff for Evelyn Firstone because it'll last more than 3 rounds. It'll be lasting for the entire battle, which is quite a big buff to her. And second one is the ultimate ability cooldown reduced from 5 turns to 4 turns. Okay, So this allows her to provide more bonus turn in a longer battle, especially for the guild versus environment, and as well as the guild boss. Okay, second hero is the Dark Dragon Asrina. Her trait ability, shield multiplier increase, basically increases her shield to defend herself from enemy's attack. Special ability, damage multiplier increase from 100% to 120%. Okay, more damage for her. Like Nicholas, replace ultimate ability, damage multiplier increase from 120 to 150%. Yeah, basically his AoE damage is pretty big, so having this increase by 30% is a good bonus. So the third hero on the list is Imogen. Trait ability, defense base up if effect increase from 2 to 3%. Okay, that's good. So basically I think he can stack up to 10, so 20% become 30% defense base up. Okay, so Savannah, one of the not well known legendary hero, because her abilities have a very long cooldown. So basic ability, damage multiplier increase from 100 to 120%. Okay, that's not that great. But for her special ability and ultimate ability, the initial cooldown has been removed. I do not know why in the first place they want to place that long initial cooldown, because it doesn't really make sense in the beginning. So now they just remove it, so it becomes like a regular hero without that restriction. So maybe Savannah will have more usage now. So previously, right, in order to work around this initial cooldown, players would use Wind Strikes to pair with Savannah to remove that limiter, so that she can instantly use her ultimate ability. But without this limiter in place, now she can be used like a pure damage dealer for like guild versus environment, and maybe for PvP. I'm not so sure. We need to see how it plays out. Okay, so moving on to the next hero, Tia. So Tia ultimate ability has an 80% chance instead of 50% chance to apply frozen to other enemies. If the target doesn't have frozen, apply 2 stacks of frostbite instead. Okay, so basically increases the stacks of frostbite to speed up the rate of freezing the enemies once they have like 4 to 5 frostbite. And this one will make her a better PvP crowd controller, because now there's like higher chances to freeze the enemy, and then your allies will be able to do 50% extra damage against frozen enemies there. Okay, next hero would be God Fairy. What do they do? So trait ability before ascension has a 100% chance instead of 50%. So to increase the cooldown of the target ultimate ability by 1 turn. Now they change it to after ascension, up to 2 times per round instead of 1. So what do they change here? After ascension, because previously, right, God Fairy needs at least 2 ascension to get this 100% chance rather than 50%. So maybe they completely change it or remove it so that it will. I'm not sure what it means by 2 times per round. Is it only affecting all enemies at the start of the battle? And he can cast it twice. Means he can reduce the target's ultimate cooldown 2 times per round whenever like the enemy buff themselves up, like Wind Strikes. Wind Strikes buff herself up with a speed up buff as well as attack up buff. Does that mean God Fairy will perform the attack twice? Or is it like per hero? So if like Wind Strikes casts her buff, followed by maybe another hero casts the buff, then that will trigger God Fairy to attack twice. This will be quite interesting. Not sure how it will affect the PvP, especially for the arena defense. Oh wow, Bachelor have another buff. So his special ability, if the target has negative effects, launches a bonus attack with the basic ability. This is cool. So it allows him to quickly stack up more ignite debuff on the enemies, and then he'll be able to perform more attacks with his ultimate ability, because the ultimate ability based on it depends on how many debuff the enemy has. So the more debuff the enemy has, then he'll be able to strike the enemy with more spear throws. Wow, Okay, now we have a more interesting hero here, like Savannah. So Desmond is also buffed along with Savannah here. So what did they do with Desmond? Basic ability also applies 1 stack of plague to the target. Okay, so this one will help to increase the plague on the target quickly. Ultimate ability is automatically cast at the start of the battle. I wonder if the ultimate ability has any cooldown. So if the wave, maybe he uses his ultimate ability on the wave, so by the time he reaches the boss, is his ultimate ability already refreshed, or can it be cast every wave? If it's every wave without any skill cooldown, it will be better. So Plague Emissary also grants Spike Restoration. So what the Spike Restoration means is basically like whenever the enemy hits Desmond, you'll automatically gain this like heal over time buff on himself, which restores based on how much health the damage dealt by the enemy. Trait ability before Ascension, when a negative effect is removed from an enemy instead of Plague, has a 30% chance instead of 50% to apply stun to them for 1 turn. So after Ascension, also ignores the first instance of massive damage received in battle. I'm not sure what does that mean. Ignores the first instance of massive damage. So one is when the negative effect is removed. So the before Ascension is allowing him to stun the enemies whenever they cleanse away that negative effect, or removing it maybe by ending their turn, then they'll get stunned. But after Ascension, the ignores the first, maybe it's protecting himself, is it? Maybe it's to protect himself from high amount damage for only 1 time. But the main problem with Desmond is the plague also will diminish his health pretty quickly. So I'm not so sure whether the Spike Restoration will also be triggered whenever he takes damage from his plague. If it doesn't, right, then you will still need to pair Desmond with a healer like Vitasia or Yolanda to provide a shield to let his plague to eat that shield or something like that. You need to see how this Spike Restoration will help Desmond to lengthen his survivability. Otherwise, right, you will still need to use Revival Set on Desmond and pairing him with another healer, which is quite a baggage, especially in the battle. Right, so the next hero is Asrina. Basic ability, they have increased the damage multiplied by 20%, including the special ability. It's not that really great, but should be good to stack up a high amount of Ignite debuff on the enemy hero, especially for the Guild versus environment. But she's not as great compared to Bachelet. Okay, next one would be Hugh. Basic ability damage multiply increase from 100 to 120%. Ultimate ability cooldown reduced from 5 to 4 turns. Okay, this one will be good, but rather than just increasing the damage of the heroes, right? The one thing that Hugh is lacking is because of his, I think his special ability. It's not 100% to apply the speed down debuff. Ideally, that should be 100% to buff Hugh up even better. Yeah, I think that would be a more relevant buff for Hugh to make more players to use him there. He needs something extra apart from the counter attack. Okay, for Harbeck, basic ability damage multiply increase from 50 to 100%. Still, we do not see any use case for Harbeck because he can't even remove the shield from Roaring Tulpa. And since he's a fire affinity hero, it's not really that great in the Queen of Tides as well, because Queen of Tides will deal 50% more damage to him because he's a weak affinity hero there. Okay, let me scroll back down. I'm at Harbeck. Okay, so next hero will be Helma. Helma is another leading hero similar to Scarlet. So what they do to him is increasing his damage multiplied to 100%, basically a 20% improvement. The special ability damage multiplier increase from 50 to 100. Okay, that would be good because his special ability deals really weak damage. I'm not sure why they started out by 50% at the start. Then his ultimate ability, damage scales with the target's bleeding stacks, no longer removes the bleeding effect. Yeah, this one would be quite good for him because previously when I tested him in like the guild boss, the bleeding effects will deal much more damage compared to him like detonating the bleeding. I'm not sure how the damage damage is calculated, but I noticed that the damage dealt by his ultimate ability is weaker compared to having or by leaving the bleeding on the enemies. Now they have already removed this limitation. I think now it will probably be slightly useful to be used for like guild versus environment to stack high amount of a debuff on the enemies to benefit from the Kiss of Death there. Okay, for the next hero, Celestial Cane. Crit ability before Ascension removes one negative effect from all team members instead of 2 members. Now they change it to after Ascension also gains 30 bonus speed when attacked. Oh, okay. This one will be not that great because this one might be useful for what's it called, for arena defense. Maybe whenever the enemy perform one single attack, maybe a crowd control from Luna Melissa, you will use this additional bonus speed to cut in the battle and quickly remove those negative effects and also put up the block damage buff. But the bad thing about this Ascension is it might screw up your turn order, especially for Archmagistra 12 if you're using Celestial Cane as like the slowest hero in the team. And then having him to gain 30 bonus speed when attack will make him be faster than your damage dealer. So this might mess up your turn order, especially for speed farming the Archmagistra stage 12 team. And if you're using him for as a block damager for Void Tower Heart, this one will also screw up your turn order. So this one is a nerf to Celestial Cane, so I will highly recommend you to not ascend him to maybe Ascension 5 to gain this 30 bonus speed. This one is a bad nerf to Celestial Cane. Next is Marian, the regular Marian. Basic ability multiply increase from 80 to 120%. Wow, that is 40% increase. Currently, the one thing that Marian is lacking of is damage, because if she isn't able to deal damage, high amount of damage, right, she won't be able to benefit from her own lifesteal buff that she placed on herself to recover her health back. And having additional damage granted to Marian, right, she'll be able to do more damage and allows her to survive in battle because she's quite squishy. And having high damage on her will allow her to deal more damage and also perform some lifesteal. And this, I think, this damage multiplier increase is justified because she also have a very low base attack stats compared to regular damage dealers. So this is quite good, especially for if you're using Marian for the faction wars, as well as the guild versus environment to clear those medium relics that have those immune, the heal immune that prevents your heroes from healing, but they are still able to heal themselves through lifesteal. Next on the list is Raven. Basic ability damage multiplier increase from 80 to 120%. That is really good. Special ability damage multiplier increase from 100 to 120%. And the best part is her ultimate ability reduced from 5 to 4 turns. So it's really good. So she can deal a more ultimate ability to deal more damage to the enemies. Right, so there are 3 more heroes left. CC base stats increase. Not sure what stats increase, maybe the speed, health, and defense. But this means also that she'll be much more difficult in the Void Tower Heart, especially when she attached to those tanky heroes like Nicholas, Blackhorn, Lightwing Zachary. That will be a really pain to clear them. Alright, so for next one is Kasim. They have optimized the AI, maybe make him much better in the arena defense. And last but not least, we have Polhex. His AI has been optimized. Hopefully his AI allows him to like deal more ultimate attacks. And yeah, currently his AI right now is not really that great because he doesn't do much of his AoE attack. Okay, hopefully this one can allow players to put him on auto when performing better, especially for the guild versus environment. Alright, so that's basically it for the update notice. What do you think about this update notice? Do let me know down in comments below. Which of this update is good and which of them is not that great. Personally for me, the good changes would be the Savannah as well as Desmond because they seriously lack the buff that they need. So those two legendary heroes that were not used by many players, now maybe they have some usage. And apart from that, the elite heroes have a very good buff, especially for Marin and Raven. CC, I don't see any usage, especially for like PvE and PvP. There's not much usage for CC. But for Raven and Marin, they have like a late game usage for, especially for the guild versus environment. And then yeah, basically, and the best buff will be Bachelet because you'll be able to apply more ignite debuff, allows you to deal more damage to the enemy and have a higher chance to stack up or rack up those negative effects on the boss. So you can have higher chances to get the bonus turn from the Kiss of Death. And the other feature I like about it would be the background battle. I think this one. Where is this? Background battle will be good. But the bad thing about this update also that they nerfed down the magic pass. Not that great. But limited summon for Pluto. Okay. So the best one would be the update or the patch notes here would be the background battle and storm duel. But the bad thing would be the magic pass. Magic pass is getting worse now. And I hope that they make the next Matrix Fusion to be more free-to-play friendly, where it doesn't require players to spend money to purchase the badge. Ideally, that one shouldn't be there in the first place because it takes a considerable amount of resources to even achieve those legendary books there. Alright, so that's it for my video. If you enjoyed this video, do give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, you can click on the subscribe button as well as ring the notification bell to stay up to date whenever I upload a new video to this channel. If you'd like to learn more about this game, you can visit my website at ayumlove.net. I have created some Awaken Chaos Era video guides there that you can learn more about this game. And if you'd like to support my work, I have a donation link in the video description below where you can donate to me directly, or you can become a monthly subscriber by becoming a patron at my site at patreon.com/ayumilove. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!